We have indeed, yeah. Welcome along, everybody, to our first support race of the day. And this is the partially reversed grid, so an interesting race in prospect. Yesterday's was as well. We had a number of drivers not making it through, sadly, to a restart which was necessitated. We had a few issues, as you can see. This is the start field that we saw yesterday, a couple of stallers.
Yeah, we had two stallers, third and fourth, and then Campbell-Pilling went over the top of Palmer, I think it was, and also Bierman ran up the back of Fernandez. So, yeah, really unfortunate for those guys. As we see it once again, a little bit slower, as you can see, two stallers, and then there's just three going into one there, just don't go. And a few of them actually managed to get away with that, very luckily. But unfortunately, there's a few, I think there was 4 or 5 that couldn't take the restart. So, real shame for them, but let's hope we don't have that again today.
Yeah, fingers crossed that we don't. Henry Jocelyn has had all sorts of issues, hasn't he, with starts. He's had loads of poles. He's been very quick for Fortec in terms of qualifying, but hasn't grabbed that win yet. It will come for sure, but as you can see, he was lucky yesterday in terms of not stalling, but he got a restart and then came third, so he got a podium out of it. So
yeah,
that was handy for him.
Yeah, that was good for Jocelyn, because he hasn't had much luck at the start of races, has he?
No, we're looking forward to seeing him have better luck as the season progresses. Well, let's have a look how they line up then for round 14 of the championship, and qualifying 12th yesterday, therefore on pole for this race is Henry Mercier. Then alongside Jimmy Pezik, August Raber on row 2 with Ethan Jeff Hall. Then it's Theo Palmer and Rowan Campbell-Pilling completing row 3. Behind them, Henry Jocelyn and Thomas Behrman. Harry Bansell qualified well yesterday. He's on row 5 with Chase Fernandez, one of the two stallers. Fionn McLaughlin next up with Martin Molnar, second yesterday to McLaughlin and championship leader. Leo Robinson next up from Adam Al-Azari. Then it's Yuhao Fu and Tommy Harfield. Xavier Avramides and Ella Lloyd, who's got our onboard camera, next up. And the grid completed by Cole Hewitson and Elba Larson. Championship complexion. I've been sort of telling everyone this is the most competitive championship for years, but there's a gap developing at the top of the table. Martin Molnar on 162, just 4 points down is Fionn McLaughlin, and then a gap of around about 40 points to Jimmy Pezik, who in the reverse grid race is up the front end. So this is a very important race for Pezik, who starts on the outside of the front row. It
certainly is. He does need to try and get into the lead here to try and get some more points back, because he is one of the quickest drivers out there. Unfortunately, just had a little bit bad luck, and with Molnar and McLaughlin being very consistent and just keep picking up points and the odd win here and there, it's just giving them the advantage at the moment. But let's see if the Argenti driver of Mercier can keep this pole position, keep the lead, and get into the first corner first.
Mercier in blue with the yellow background to the number, denoting first-year car driver. And there's a Rowan Campbell-Pilling clearly jumped the start there.
Oh my God, yeah, that was so early. He's got a massive lead there. But I was looking out the window and I couldn't work out what had happened there, because no one seemed to move apart from one car, which was absolutely ballistic. So Campbell-Pilling's got that all wrong.
He's just having rotten luck, isn't he, Campbell-Pilling, at the moment? He really is not having any luck at all. He was involved yesterday. It was a shame, going for that gap due to the stallers.
Oh, Fernandez has lost his front wing going through turn 1 and now going into turn 3. He's just run wide with no front grip whatsoever. And Campbell-Pilling's now locked up and gone for the long circuit now. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on today with Campbell-Pilling. He's jumped the start and then he's missed the braking point for the hairpin. So now that's Pezik, who we were just talking about, now leading.
Yeah, Jimmy Pezik then, so he needs the points here as they come down from Hilltop for the first time. Pezik leading. Second position is August Raber, the man with the most wins in the championship so far this year. 3 wins for Raber. So again, if you think this is a reverse grid race, Raber, you'd have expected him to be up higher and further back in the reverse grid race. So this is, really a very weird position, a very weird race as they come to Oulton Park to see the positions changing around. And I think that probably is as much to do with the competitiveness of this championship as we've seen it so far. But Pezik doing what he needs to do at the moment with that lead from...
Oh, big lock up for Jeff Hall there.
Yeah, Ethan Jeff Hall. Great thing about the reverse is it's a chance for drivers such as Mercier to grab a first podium as we go on board with Ella Lloyd.
Yeah, Ella Lloyd in the McLaren Rodin coloured car. So going into turn 1, trying to get into that camber. You can see a few people locking up a lot on lap 1 and 2, because it is quite cold today compared to yesterday, and you can see she's got to run on the XL car in front as they go into the dip now, as they go through Cascade, just trying to pick up the camber once again. Very cambered circuit here at Oulton Park. Lots of bumps, lots of cambered corners, which you really have to get the car into. Look at them all locking up as they're going into the hairpin. So difficult to get the car stopped when you want to lock one of those front wheels.
Very much so, and Ella coming off the back of a very good Academy, F1 Academy weekend last weekend in Canada, where she took 3 second places, so underlining her pace in that championship. Oh, and Campbell-Pilling, will you be bothered about a 5-second false start? Not now.
It's only 5 seconds though, so if he had have kept that lead, it is only 5 seconds, which is amazing. But I mean, he has obviously lost a lot by going and doing the full circuit, but yeah, if he had kept that lead and just disappeared like he could have done, 5 seconds doesn't seem enough. If you see it again, I think he's actually gone on the red.
There he goes.
No, he's just gone when he felt like it. He made these mistakes last year, if you remember, and I thought we were going to see less mistakes from Campbell-Pilling, but unfortunately, these same gremlins keep coming back, and just, I don't know what happens when he gets on the start line. He just sort of melts, and unfortunately it's a real big mistake. And as you can see, a wing there flying off from Fernandez, and he's just, as you can see, got no front grip at all as he's tried to turn through Cascades. And yeah, he's obviously pitted for a new front wing. The XL guys will be very quick at getting that front wing back on. But yeah, Mercier, let's just talk about Mercier. He's actually kept 3rd position there. He's got his teammate Jeff all behind, but he's just going to now settle down into the race and try and get this podium. Ella Lloyd down the inside of the XL car and the CDR car. Doesn't quite get past Harfield, but great move from Ella Lloyd.
Yeah, superb stuff on Yu Hao Fu. And now Tommy Harfield, who was, I think, championship leader, if I remember correctly, when we left Donington Park, subject to appeals. But certainly had a good weekend at Donington for the first one. Pazik away, Raver fastest lap on lap 2. Mercier still in 3rd, and that's what these races are about, isn't it? You know, we knew Pazik, remember, second-year driver. Interesting for Jimmy Pazik coming to Oulton Park. He had last year off to do Australian F4. Wasn't with us in British F4 last year, but he was with us the year before. So he's one of the few drivers with F4 experience of Oulton Park. Yeah,
exactly. He is quite experienced, Pazik. So you know, we are expecting good things from him, which we are seeing right now. Fastest lap of the race as well. No, that goes to Raver. So Raver's taken fastest lap of the race from Pazik. 21.7. I think it's a low 20s, the lap record, but we maybe see those laps come down as the race goes on, and maybe later on, especially if it stays nice and cool, which is much better for the tyre life.
This is fascinating now, on board with Ella Lloyd, but chasing the championship leader, Martin Molnar, who's not made too much progress at the moment. In fact, he's dropped back. He's 13th. He's behind Tommy Harfield. So Tommy Harfield has overtaken the championship leader. There is Ella busy chasing. So we're going to get a really good battle here, hopefully, between the two. Yu Hao Fu wants to get stuck back in, and then Xavier Abramides. All these drivers have been up or near podiums at certain points, so although I said there's a little bit of a gap emerging at the top of the points table, it is still a very, very close season that we've had so far. This is the halfway point. We won't see the cars at our next TOCA meeting, which is at Croft, because they've got a Zandvoort meeting to look forward to, and of course in a fortnight time British Grand Prix meeting. That's non-championship as far as the British go, but bags of prestige with that.
Yeah, that's amazing. The fact that the British F4 Championship has managed to get a slot on the British Grand Prix weekend, that means you're going to have F4, F3, F2 and F1 all on the same weekend at the British Grand Prix. Is going to be amazing to watch, and a lot of these guys and girls are going to be doing it, so we'll have to watch out for these future F1 stars at the F1 race at Silverstone.
It's going to bring a lot of new viewers to the world of F4 racing, which is absolutely superb for us here in the UK, and will, I'm absolutely sure, you know, do no harm at all to the profile of this wonderful championship, which we are seeing as McLaughlin there. McLaughlin, championship-wise, a moment to think about that, has come up from 11th on the grid to 7th. So McLaughlin, the Red Bull car, has made good progress, and this is very handy for championship, because there are points on where you finish, but also points on places gained. And at the moment, Molnar is out of the points, and he's dropped a place, so he's not on for any points. Whereas McLaughlin will get 12th to 7th, which is 5 points, plus I think 2 points for 7th place. So potentially knocking on the door of the championship lead here, and in a reverse grid race, that's a good feat.
Absolutely, but also looking at Banzel, who's behind McLaughlin, he is looking like he's starting to put a bit of pressure on the Red Bull driver. Banzel's second weekend in British F4, he's been doing a lot of testing with Double R and getting up to speed, and he's actually driving for Fortec this season. He's been doing a little bit of GB4 as well, so he's definitely one to watch for the future. You can see the Fortec car just behind the Red Bull car there, coming into the last corner, had a little lock-up, but he is chasing down the high-tech car of McLaughlin, and we should see some action in the next few laps, I would think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fortec still very much a class outfit in terms of any Formula racing and on F4. But let's have a Phil Glue moment with Ella Lloyd.
Yeah, as we go through turn one, we go down one gear, a little bit of camber, don't run too wide because there's some track limits there. And it's flat out through the kink, over the brow. You've got to brake with a bit of bump there. You've got to make sure, she has a little bit of a lock, a little bit of a slide as she tries to turn in. 4 cascades, again, try not to run too wide for track limits. And then it's a very bumpy braking zone as you're coming into the hairpin. So you've got to be very cautious not to sort of have any steering lock on and not hit the brake too hard. Make sure you modulate the brake pressure as you're going over the bumps and come back over to the right, coming out the hairpin because it's slightly lower on the right-hand side of the track. Then bring it back over to the left, ready for the braking zone, which is downhill into the chicane. A little bit of a slide there, but that's what you want. You want some rotation because it's so important now to flick the car in, rotating, make sure you get the exit for this very steep uphill section, ready for Druids, which is a very high-speed part of the circuit, double apex. You actually only apex once, but you want to turn it in and get pushed out. So you click the first apex, pushed out. You didn't actually make either there, but it doesn't really matter for a high-speed corner like that. And then you're coming into the last corner again, very bumpy. So you've got to make sure that you modulate the brake pressure, release it into the camber, get the car rotated. It wants to understeer here because it kind of drops away on the exit curve. So you've got to make sure the rotation comes nice and early to give the exit that you need, ready for the start line and into turn one once again.
Ella closing up on the group in front and looking at the timing screen, all of the drivers bar 2, in fact now make that bar 1, all in the 1:21s. That is how close and competitive this championship is this year. It's such a very close competition. Pole positions are important, equally making the most of reverse grid races where appropriate is equally so as well. Zeke still out front. Fastest lap now with Rowan Campbell-Pilling, who I guess has had a little bit of clear track, but that's going to be good for Rowan. He does deserve a little bit better luck than he has had. He's a great lad, always comes up and talks, always gives us the news, tells us what he's up to, and he really does deserve a better run with the green than he's had. Absolutely,
yeah. As you can see here, with a Hartfield with CDR all over the back of Leo Robinson in the high-tech car, as we see a black and white flag now for number 25. That's Jeff Hall. So he has got a black and white flag for track limits, so he needs to be careful. He doesn't want to be losing any positions here, especially getting any 5-second penalties. There's Bierman in 5th, Jocelyn in 6th, so he is going to start losing positions if he does one more.
Just going back to our pole position man, Henry Mercier did a pretty good job, really. I know from pole to 3rd, people might want to argue that point, but we have to consider that he's a first-year driver. Pazik and Raber have got that much more experience than Henry Mercier.
Yeah.
And, you know, they both had experiences of starting off the front. Henry hasn't, so it was a huge ask for him.
And also, just to add to that, you're probably a little bit put off with someone coming down the middle of the track. Well, just jump the start.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
It was probably a bit of a surprise for Henry Mercier, but he's a great lad. He's driving for Argenti. He lives in Spain. He's from America, and the family come backwards and forwards to race in the UK. He does a great job to learn the circuits as quickly as he does. He's always on the sim, you know, with different coaches, just trying to get up to speed, working with his team, working with his engineer Dan, and yeah, always learning. But he's doing a great job for his first year in F4, and let's hope we see him back next year.
It'd be great to see him get a podium. I don't want to deny Ethan Jeff Hall one. All of these drivers capable of it, as we ride back on board momentarily with Ella Lloyd closing in on Martin Molnar, the championship leader. Martin's going to be very disappointed with this, I think.
Yeah, he will be, won't he? Because, yeah, 13th is not a position you expect in Molnar to finish, especially with the speed that he's had. And obviously,
double pole this weekend.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, maybe he's just using his worst tyres at the minute for this race, and then we will see something better in the final race of the weekend for Molnar.
Missing a couple of drivers this weekend. That's being, let me see, Charlie Edge not with us this weekend. Joel Bergstrom, I think Charlie doing the challenge, so maybe one of the rounds that he wasn't originally planning to do.
That's right.
And Joel Bergstrom, who had some damage last time out. I hope that Joel can sort his resources out and get back with us as well. The young Swedish driver, second-year driver. So we miss them, wish them well, obviously. Another change in fastest lap back to Campbell-Pilling. 1:20.962, so that lad has got some pace.
A 20.8 is the lap record with Kanato Lee, so that is close now, isn't it? I don't know what times they did yesterday, but yeah, 20.9.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. That's Molnar, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, he's got a problem.
That's a big story. That's the championship lead. He wasn't in the points in this race, so maybe not as big a story as it could have been. But Martin Molnar having a bit of an issue and dropping away. I guess he would rather drop out of a non-points position than maybe a podium or potential win later on in the afternoon, but a DNF is not what he wants. A no score is not what he wants.
He's done a factory reset there. He's turned it off and on again and managed to get it going. So let's see if he can get this car back to the pit so the team can get to work on it straight away, so he doesn't have this problem in race 3 later on in the day, because he's starting from pole, like we said earlier.
Yeah, yesterday's race saw McLaughlin out-drag him at the start, and Finn was basically saying, around here, very difficult to overtake, and he had to make the move off the start, which he did, the Red Bull back driver. So, you know, he did the job there. Could get the championship lead here, especially if he could make up another base. Still in 7th, stuck behind Henry Jocelyn, who was, as we said, had a little bit of good fortune yesterday, as we look at Xavier Avramides in the number 4. Another one of this year's rookies. Hopefully will come back for another season next year, but he's got himself ahead of Fu now, hasn't he, Avramides?
Yes, he has, up to 14th. Lloyd in 13th. Just going back off Lloyd. Lloyd started 18th, so she's had a great start to the race. Looks like she's just dropping back a little bit now, but she was definitely attacking hard to get herself all the way up to 13th, which is a great job from the McLaren Rodin driver. As we go back on board again, as they're going into the chicane, again trying just to make sure that the exit is clean as they come out of the Knickerbock chicane, with Avramides also trying to get the exit to get the slipstream up the hill and try and have a run into the last 2 corners.
Yeah, so it's Aussie chasing the Welsh driver, Ella Lloyd. See whether the Aussie can do anything here. Ella, of course, running in the challenge, won't do the 3 races that clash with F1 Academy. Not sure if Ella's going to be racing at the Grand Prix. I would imagine, being a McLaren driver, that it would be in their interest to have her at the British Grand Prix meeting. Good PR for them.
Yeah, I believe she is. As you can just see now, Avramides is now getting closer and closer to Lloyd. I thought he was going to have a look down the inside of her going into the last corner, but yeah, he thought better of it. He wasn't quite close enough. He needs to get his head down, try and get a good few corners. Getting those exits is the most important thing in these cars, to try and have a go into the next braking zone.
Fu's on his own behind these 2, so it is Lloyd incidentally now trying to chase down Tommy Harfield in the Chris Stickman car. So
oh, he's gone for a late move there. Oh, that was close. Very
he's having a go, isn't he?
Late lock-up.
That now makes it into a proper battle, doesn't it? Because Ella will know she's got to start defending.
Yeah, absolutely. She already has started to defend a little bit. She did on the previous lap. But yeah, I thought he was actually going to go for that move then. But I think he caught himself off guard, because he wasn't really expecting to make the move. But then she obviously braked a lot earlier than what he was expecting, and he just managed to avoid running the back. With a lock up there, yes, very good driving from the pair of them then. I think she did actually see him coming as well, just left a little bit of a wider berth, just so there was no contact. But yeah, this is the closest he's been now as he comes through Druids. He does run a little bit wide onto the off the curb there, which is very bumpy, and he is close, but he's not quite close enough to make a move. Can he get a good run out the last corner, get the slipstream, which will start taking effect about now, and have a late lunge into turn 1.
Let's see what a 16-year-old Aussie having a good old chase here and giving us a great race to watch. It's almost as if he's coming to terms with Oulton Park and learning. There is Martin Molnar, the lone, again, virtuosi runner, and several drivers. Interesting now that obviously Fortec, not a single car team anymore,
yep,
but JHR are this weekend.
Yeah.
With Joel Bergstrom not being here, and that kind of changes around. Here comes
Avramides
down the inside, sees the gap, Ella locks up on the brakes, and that was a lovely bit of. That's really the place, isn't it, where you've got to make the pass? Yeah,
I think she actually did clip his rear left. Yeah, I think he's got a puncture. I'm sure. Yeah, look, her front wing's damaged, and I'm sure he's got a puncture. Yes, he has. I saw it. I saw the damage that she did as she tried to tuck in, and unfortunately, that's just clipped the tyre wall of his rear left, and it's given him a puncture. So yeah, really unfortunate, because that was a great move. Went down the inside, nice late lunge, had a little lock up, but all clean. As Ella Lloyd tries to tuck back in, caught her front wing and gave him a puncture. Yeah, she will probably get a penalty for that, because Avramides was well and truly in front. She didn't mean to do it, obviously, but it's just the timing of trying to tuck back in. Yeah, wow. That's really unfortunate. But you can see straight away the rear left is low, and you can see it's starting to shred already. But real shame for Avramides. That was a good move.
Yeah, so the young Aussie showing us a little bit of overtaking. Ella's got to regroup her thoughts and get back onto it. He will come into pit lane, but he's not going to make places up, so it's going to be no championship points for Xavier Avramidis, who has been up on the podium this year and has done a good job of racing so far. Pazik's still out front. Looks like Molnar's still having issues.
Yeah, Molnar's got back out again. They've tried to fix this issue.
I wondered whether he was just being courteous and letting everybody pass there rather than having another issue.
Yeah, it looks that way. He's up to speed again now, so yeah, he's obviously a lap or two down, so he just needs to stay out of the way of the battles that are going on and just make sure his car is working properly for the final race.
Viewers might ask, why is he still out there if he's that far down? The answer is that there's a point for fastest lap, so that could count for the championship. So if the car is sorted, he might be able to, he won't do it while he's letting other cars pass, but if he gets some clear track, grab a championship point. I'm glad Illa's still going, because I think she's going to be up for some points here.
Yeah, saying that though, I'm sure she's going to get the black and orange flag soon for a mechanical issue, because that is a little bit dangerous with the front wing flapping like that. You don't want it to go underneath the front of the car and lose all steering. So, yeah, she might get the meatball flag, as they call it, very soon. But let's see as she crosses the line if there's any flags out. No, not yet. I don't think they've quite spotted it. But yeah, hopefully she can get to the end of the race.
Let's just rub it in and have another look at the incident. Oh, there we go.
So close, wasn't it?
That was a shame. Yeah, big shame. But yeah, Avramidis was happy to get stuck in and have a go, which is what you want to see. And yeah, Ella will carry on with our on board. Yeah, still going.
It's not too bad. I've seen worse. I've seen front wings that are flapping away and not quite attached to the nose cone. This one is, and it's actually just flexing, as you can see when she gets up to a higher speed. Obviously the aero kicks in and it starts to flex the front wing. And it's got no strength in it anymore. So yeah, I think she'll be right, because there's only just over a minute left of this race to go, and she should be able to get to the end.
If it starts flapping like me when I was in goal many years ago playing football, then they'll call it in. But at the moment, I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. Campbell-Pilling still with fastest lap, so a little bit of consolation so far for Rome with that 120, which does seem a leap above everybody else, doesn't it, in the conditions that we've got here.
That's pure rage and anger from Campbell-Pilling. Yeah, he'll be very frustrated with himself.
Just had news from our assistant director, Mark, saying that the stewards have told us that they're okay. They're keeping an eye on the wing, but at the moment it's okay. So thanks for that, Mark.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because it means she's going to be able to finish this race. But yeah, like you just said, they will be keeping an eye on it, because anything worse than it is doing now, they will sort of think that's quite dangerous, and obviously they don't want any debris on the circuit or for her to lose her steering when she goes into a braking zone. So James Pazik, he's still leading this race with 19 seconds to go. He's definitely got this one covered, with Reba, who's pushing hard behind in second, and teammate of Reba, Mercier, in third. So great day for Argenti at the minute.
It is, yeah, doing real well at the moment. The top British driver is Ethan Jeff Hall, isn't he, in fourth position. Thomas Behrman down behind him, but at the moment we've got an Aussie leading, a Swede in second position, and the American looking for his first podium in P3, which is going to be another interesting result. And what's that going to make? I think something like, we've had 8 winners and there's 7 different drivers on podiums.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good.
Absolutely fantastic. But Mr. Pazik has done it for the Rodin team, and he's going to win the race.
Here we come, checkered flag out. Jimmy Pazik takes his third win. He surpasses his win total from 2 years ago when he made his debut in the championship. August Reba, the Swede, second. Henry Mercier, a podium for the young American driver in third place. Fourth goes to Ethan Jeff Hall. Then it was Thomas Behrman in fifth place from Henry Jocelyn in sixth. More good points for Henry Jocelyn. And seventh position, Fionn McLaughlin. Eighth position, Ari Bansal. So good stuff. And Jimmy Pazik, yeah, did everything he had to do. The only other thing he could have done was maybe get fastest lap, because he arguably had clear traffic. But if you're on pole in a reverse grid, it kind of suggests that maybe not quite on that sort of pace necessarily.
Yeah, it's what he needed to do there, wasn't it? He had to win that race to get some more points to try and catch up with McLaughlin and Molnar, but Molnar not scoring anything. McLaughlin only finishing in seventh. This is a great day for Pazik.
It is. As I say, he'll be delighted to have surpassed his win total from his first season as well. He had, let's say, 2 wins in his first season with us a couple of years ago. So to get that third one, and we are just edging towards the final, the halfway point, the final race of the weekend being the halfway point of the Vera Tools F4 Championship. Ella Lloyd will bring her car home in 13th. Where did you say Ella started? Down
18th.
18th, so 5 championship points for places gained, and I love that. This championship is so well structured in terms of the points. We've got 2 fastest off the front races. We get the extra entertainment from the partial reverse, with drivers being rewarded for making gains from their starting positions. It is absolutely spot on. Here's how they finished the Wera Tools F4 British Championship round 14 here at Oulton Park, and a win for the Aussie Jimmy Pezik from August Raber. Henry Mercier in 3rd, with Ethan Jeff Hall next up. Henry getting the rookie win as well. Congratulations to him on his first win. Then it was Thomas Behrman 5th from Henry Jocelyn and Fionn McLaughlin. Ari Bansal gets 8th place for Fortec. Theo Palmer in 9th. Adam Alazari taking that top 10 position as well. 11th goes to High-Tech's Leo Robinson from Chris Dittman Racing's Tommy Harfield. Ella Lloyd showed us the way to 13th place, with Yu Hao Fu in 14th from Cole Hewitson and Elba Larson. Several drivers had issues through the race, those being Rowan Campbell-Pilling, Chase Fernandez, Xavier Avramides and Martin Molnar. So reverse grid races can affect championship standings, and they have done here. Fionn McLaughlin takes the lead now, 2-point lead over Martin Molnar. Jimmy Pezik consolidates 3rd, 38 points behind Molnar. He's not going to be able to get up to 2nd this weekend. 4th is August Raber from Henry Jocelyn. Tommy Harfield in 6th from Leo Robinson. 8th is Adam Alazari, then Thomas Behrman and Ethan Jeff Hall wrapping up our top 10. In the rookies, McLaughlin, unsurprisingly, is the top man there from Thomas Behrman and Xavier Avramides. And the Challenge Cup, Tommy Harfield ahead of Charlie Edge and Elba Larson in 3rd, ahead of Ella Lloyd and Ari Bansal in 5th. Still got another race to go for F4 this weekend. As we look at the celebrations, time to grab yourselves, as ever, a quick cup of tea and a bicky. We'll be back with an interview with Jimmy Pezik in a couple of minutes. Please stay with us.